All right, the next accommodation I want to show you is something that we call high contrast mode. Now, again, like I had mentioned earlier, as you start to interface with students, you're going to come across students with high levels of need, of different levels of need. And you may have students with visual impairments, cortical vision impairments, traumatic brain injuries, things of that nature that may affect vision in some capacity. So again, how we get to this is we go down to our time. I pull up my accessibility guy. Okay, now we're here. Now when I click this, my screen is going to look radically different. Okay, this is not dark mode like people are familiar with in iOS. It has similar premise, but you'll notice very quickly that the colors become pretty distorted. Okay, so I go here, accessibility, I go high contrast mode. Now, in high contrast mode, now it is presented in a way that is much more easily digestible for students with vision impairments. If you're somebody that looks at this and says, well, that doesn't make sense to me, well, that accommodation is probably not for you. Having the black background with contrasting text is much easier for people with low vision and visual impairments, and students that are struggling with that, to be able to access print. Now you'll notice some things right here where you've got blue, or even down here at the bottom where it looks radically different. Okay, I'll show you the background even. Okay, it even presents in a way that's a little bit more friendly for vision impairments. So this is again a website. This is our SUSD website. I can go here. I can go to the GAFE accessibility training that we went over earlier, and you can see a radical difference here. Now, a lot of people, this isn't a preference that they like. Well, it's not really designed for them. One of the things that I like is that when I highlight, it highlights in yellow. So it does make it a little bit more contrasting. And this is on a Google Doc. You see how Google Drive presents itself. And then the same thing here with PDFs and other digital content. Usually presents in the same capacity. Now there are a lot of different ways that we can use high contrast mode, but again, this is something that's generally going to be for students with visual impairments. And as you begin to interact with students, you're going to notice very quickly that there are a lot of accommodations that will be asked of you for students. And as you start to notice, particularly our K-3 teachers, our teachers that are on the front line, especially for education specialists, you guys are the ones that are going to have the first interaction with students with complex disabilities. So when you start to look at these tools like high contrast mode, they may seem like they are not helpful to somebody who is sighted. But if somebody who has vision impairments, these can be an incredibly valuable tool. Okay, now if I want to turn this off, I can very basically go back down to my time. I can go accessibility, and I can go ahead and turn high contrast mode off. So again, high contrast mode off, high contrast mode on. Okay, high contrast mode off. And what does it look like on a website? There's our SUSD website. Okay, white background, very, very bright. Student might have some sort of vision impairment. We don't know. This is just, I can't see this. This doesn't make sense. Okay, buddy, well, let's try this. Let's go here. Let's go into high contrast mode. And now we have an accessible web page for students who may need that. I hope this was helpful. And I hope that as you interface with students who may have visual impairments, that we are just one step ahead of being able to accommodate for these students with complex needs. I hope you enjoyed this training. Stay tuned. There'll be a showcase on many other tools coming in the next few minutes.